No, that's fine. It's high plot's fine. Do I have Epic Pen Tool? Let's pause. Do I have Epic Pen Tool open? No, I don't. Let's open that up.
So yeah, I just confirmed it. Tier average was plat 2.
Gotcha, sounds good. Cool pen. Cool, cool, cool. Okay,
Now I
you can
know,
see the pen, right?
yes I can.
Okay, cool.
I know I played kind of poorly for the first first 15 minutes because I got down. I was down like 1 kill, 4 deaths, and I like wasn't playing very good macro. But once team fights started, it kind of came back for me, and I think I carried a little bit to the victory.
Gotcha, gotcha. Did you blind Ahri here, or did you pick it into Sylas?
I blinded it.
Okay. Is Ahri one of your comfort picks?
Yeah, it's like I mained her all last season. Kind of one tricked her last season, and now she's if Zed's banned, I play Ahri.
Okay, gotcha. So, before this game even loads up, what is your mentality coming in? What are you thinking of?
Well, I know the Sylas match. I mean, from what I've experienced with Sylas and Ahri, I kind of have to let the wave push into me because if I overextend and he E's onto me, I have a really hard time. And if I get ganked at the same time he does that, I don't know. It's really hard for me pre-6 to get away from him. So I kind of just want to play safe and kind of keep the wave on my side of the map. Um, but I know I can trade with him as long as he's not on top of me.
Gotcha.
And I have the Lee Sin jungle, which is nice.
Yep. So usually the main things you want to be thinking of as you get higher and higher in elo is you want to be thinking about the jungle matchup and the support matchup, because those are going to be the two most important factors in your lane. For this game specifically, Lee Sin is much stronger than Hecarim in the early game, especially with the recent nerfs to Hecarim. Hecarim's just very very bad now, and Lee Sin is really really good. Um, Now, on the opposite factor, Senna does not really want to leave lane, whereas Rakan wants to leave lane. He wants to move around. That's where he thrives. Um, so you want to be playing towards your jungler, but you also want to be very hyper aware of that Rakan off map, because as you said, you're very vulnerable before you're 6 since you have no mobility.
Yeah, that's actually really. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll say that's actually really interesting you say that because the Rakan is what got me killed a few like these. I'm saying the early game was rough for me. The Rakan was a big part of that,
Yeah,
and I
so
didn't even think of it at all.
higher elos, like the higher you get up in ranks, the more support will just constantly be mid. Supports have very, very oft common roam timers. And as you get to higher elo, you see them roaming top or early game, you'll see them roaming mid. And that's based off understanding when they have a roam timer based on their lane state, and that's up to you being aware of when their bot lane is backing, what your bot lane's late wave state is for them to have a roam timer. All these small things start adding up, and the enemies start abusing them. Um, it's not You're not going to see it often in this elo, but you'll see it from good supports that are able to climb. That'll punish you and that'll make you lose games because your support won't be able to match it, especially if it's something like Senna, who again just doesn't want to leave lane. They'll have their ultimates at 6, obviously, but that's not nearly as impactful as Rakan being in your lane.
Yeah, the
Um,
Senna was really good this game too, so that helps.
yeah, I mean, looking at composition wise, coming in, you should just feel like you're at an advantage. Sylas doesn't really have any great ults to take. You also have just a very strong mid game. Kaiser Khan's a really weird lane. Jin Senna double range is kind of shits on it. Hecarim is dog shit right now. Urgot beats Shen, but a good Shen can just play safe and farm it out. And Ahri is favored into Sylas mainly because you have a shit ton of dueling power and burst early where he is extremely weak. And if he ever tries to dash on you or jump on you, you pretty much have a guaranteed charm if you stagger it right because he has as long as he's on top of you, if he's looking for his E, you just have a time to stagger in your charm, where if he E's on you, he'll be charmed and taking your extra damage. And you also just win 2v2. This is very strong with Lee Sin. So let's get into game and see how early game goes. So we'll focus on you. And do you understand what a
You should
5
use
point
him.
is?
I do.
Okay.
Pretty sure we don't do it.
So right here, you should just immediately in plat, you kind of have to make up for where your jungler lacks. Most junglers will just go straight to where their guy starts. So he's just gonna be down here. So instead of you coming to this mid right here, you should be looking to cover up here.
Yeah, I think I did kind of flex when I saw this a little bit. Um, I roamed just into the top river. just to watch that.
Yep. So this is a bit risky being over here just because they can come through the wall and maybe hug this way. It's unlikely, but you know these games it happens like 1 in 20 games when it happens. You're gonna be a bit upset about it. But yeah, absolutely fine. They're invading. Don't start charm there. That's a bit of a waste. Now you lose any. Okay. Did you start charm because they were doing that, or did you start it because you started?
I didn't pick any abilities until I saw Rakan trying to do something over the wall, and I tried to hit the Rakan but hit the Sylas.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's not worth starting your charm there. Just because like you're not gonna get anything off of it. You only have two players. Even if he takes one tower shot, he's still gonna walk out because Rakan can just start E. Rakan can start any of his three abilities. Um, so now you don't have really any early pushing power against Sylas, which is very bad. Because Sylas, any really bad early champions that are like melee, you can pretty much manipulate the wave at your will. You can come in and do whatever you want with the wave. So you could do something like a cheater recall. You could do a slow push into an invade. You could try to let him push into you if he's stupid. Um, things like this. But
Charging battery.
having the extra pushing power with the Q helps that a lot. So without that, with the charm, it just makes your life a little bit harder. And he knows you have charm, so it sucks a little bit, but it's okay.
Minions have spawned.
So nothing important happening here. So it's okay to let the wave stall like this if you want it to push into you, if that's your game plan. That's okay. Personally, I am a fan of gaining prio in this matchup just because you want to be fighting with your Lee Sin. He's going to be wanting to 2v fight on Scuttles with Hecarim. And you also want to be playing aggressively to try to get some wards in their jungle and figure out where there is. Just because Hecarim kind of has to full clear. So you're not really at threat of getting ganked until 305, 310. So you have, okay, the ability to push, but without Q, it's a little hard. So that this is okay. Just thinking out the wave. I don't know where Sylas is. He must have backed. But so you should be taking note right now of where they're starting. So you should notice that Kais. You should be just glancing around the map. And one thing you'll notice is bot lane's pathing. Kais has a little bit mana missing. That means they definitely started this blue buff. So immediately that means you should be hovering towards bot side during this entire lane because Lee Sin is starting this and going to be pathing down here. Hecarim's starting here and will be pathing up here. So you have to hover bot side.
I definitely did not think to hover bot side very much.
Yep, you right now support is like sorry, mid is like a support for your jungler rather than an actual role because of how the game state is. So I still don't know where Sylas is. It's okay. So I mean, this lane should theoretically just be one. So right there, just charm that. Like I said, so he has a little bit. You have it a little bit of time to know exactly where he's going when he does that. And you just charm right on the minion. You get auto charm, auto electrocute, and he's lost 200 HP already, or we're at 150. The lane's pushing into you, which is fine.
I missed a lot of CS here too, so.
Yeah, I see. CS, I mean, it's just practice. Practice, and focus. Make sure you're focusing on it because CSing is a lot more valuable than harassing, than trading. You can trade all you want, but if you're down 20 CS at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So right here again, yep, just charm. Good. It's auto, 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 auto. Okay, so right there was a small mistake. We'll go back 5 seconds. So fighting inside a minion wave against Sylas is very, very, very good because it prevents his E from being from hitting you. So right here, this is good. This is good. And now right here, you want to just slightly. Also, did you start T-ring? I forgot to point that. Start corrupting potion in this matchup. Anybody you want to be harassing and fighting early, you generally want to be starting corrupting potion. Like
Really
think about
passive.
this trade you're doing right now. You'll have an extra maybe 40 to 50 damage just from corrupting potion passive. Because like what does D-ring like do for you? It gives you mana sustain and some extra HP. But do you actually need that against somebody like Sylas who's not gonna be wanting to fight you? And you will have the opportunity to recall a lot due to control of the wave early game.
Yeah, I think the idea behind the D ring was just it's like the comfort thing to do, and I thought that the extra health would stop him from like one-shotting me. But I see what you're saying, 100%.
So Sylas can't one-shot you. He's not a good champion early game. He's strong, but he is not definitely not nearly as strong as Ahri, especially since you have Ignite. He's gonna be taking TP. Um, yeah, it's very unlikely. And generally any matchups that you're gonna be fighting a lot, like versus Yasuo, Zed, Sylas, you always want to be taking Corrupting Potion because they're gonna want to be trading with you, so you're gonna have to trade back. You can't just eat it. So the best way to do that is with Corrupting Potion. He should have been starting that as well. Darksteel is an extremely greedy start. So yeah, right here, we're gonna go 0.5. So right here, it's a small mechanical misplay. You step to auto inside the wave. You just need to step back a little bit farther here, like behind these minions of hovering this auto attack, so we can't hit a Z. The most important thing to play with, that's gonna be doing damage here, is your actual minions rather than your auto attacks. So it just small things you want to do against Sylas is you always want to be inside the actual minion wave. It is close, obviously it's hard to tell, but the best way is just continuously stepping back because he has nowhere to really go. He has to go forward here.
Right. I should have taken a few more steps back and just autoed him a couple times.
Exactly. So the trade is still even, but again, if you had Corrupting Potion ticking this whole time, he's down to 225 instead of 275. And then you're at lethal range because you have Ignite. So again, just make sure you're hovering a little bit towards your bot side. It's just good practice to always be hovering towards the side your jungler's on. Because if, let's say, Hecarim does some cheesy shit and he 3 camps and then he goes over to Raptors, you want to be hovering right here so you could help out your Lee Sin. So you should definitely just be trying to harass the Sylas. You shouldn't be able to just do this for free. Good. Throw out some Qs. He has no CDs now. Step up. Okay. Let's go back. So Sylas's CDs early game are very long. Let's look. His E is 14 seconds and his W is 13 seconds. So every time he uses either of those, you have a massive window to just step up and harass him. Remember, his W only heals if he hits you, not the minions. So something important to consider. So right here, he just used his W and his E. You should be tracking your own XP and know you're about to tick 3. So right here, you have a very big lethal window. Right here, what you should be thinking is that he just burned both of his cooldowns. He has E2 up, and you are about to hit 3 off of this cannon minion. You have about your full rotation up, and you're going to have your W up. If he steps up for this minion, you can step past right here. If you charm him, W
Nice.
into Q with Ignite, that's just complete lethal. Because he has no way of healing through that with his W on CD. So right here, if you instead of step, you should know that this is gonna hit you 3, right? You should be tracking your XP, and you're stepping backwards. But what you should be doing is actually stepping forwards here, because he has no way of trading on you. So you have this little window right here where you could charm, and he's pretty much dead, right? Because he's level 2, and Ahri's burst is significant enough to do more than 50% HP at this point with Ignite. And even if you don't kill him there, right, he's still forced out of lane, and you have this freeze that he's going to have to burn TP on. So regardless, it's a good situation. Okay, so it's 3 minutes in the game. What should you be thinking right now?
About Hecarim.
Exactly. That is the most important factor. So notice how Sylas is hovering court up here instead of being down here. It's because he knows his jungler is going to be playing for the scuttle, so that's where he wants to play towards. So again, you could isolate this by playing down here and cutting off his choke point angles here. Now, you're not in a very...
I did kinda,
Sorry.
I said I did kind of get what I wanted with the wave under my tower, kind of.
Yes, your wave is in an extremely good state. It's very vulnerable for... It's very easy for Lee Sin to gank. You're also very easy to get kill angles. This wave state is definitely fantastic. But again, you need to... If you're going to make a wave state like this, you have to capitalize on it. It's like right here, again, just harass. He has no way of doing anything to you. There's no chance you can get these minions. Okay, so let's go back. So tell me what you did wrong in the next 10, 15 seconds. If you don't know, it's okay.
Oh, okay. I think I gave up some CS to auto him instead of the CS.
Close, but a little bit off.
Or where I walked it into tower range.
So let's go over. So right here, this is good, right? You're zoning off the CS. So now the goal is you want him to to not be able to get the CS, right? So you just auto attacked him
Right.
a bit, so these minions are now hitting you. So if all of these minions are hitting you, that means they're not hitting these guys, right?
Right, so they can't kill him.
Exactly. So you need to reset the aggro on them, just by stepping away from them. So see, like they hit you in waves about 3 times here. So they're spending all this time hitting you instead of these 2 casters. And I know it seems really small, like him missing 2 minions, but you know you do this he misses 1 or 2 minions every wave. Within 5-10 minutes, you have a 30 CS lead.
It also makes my wave push back towards him then too, because
Exactly.
since the minions are getting to lane faster on my side, and they're not attacking, spending their charges on me instead of my minions.
Yep,
It'll
you're
push back
completely right.
towards them.
This itself breaks the freeze and will push back towards. Which means actually seeing this, what he could do right now, since he knows the freeze is gonna break, what if he just goes back here, resets, and then TPs back to this wave? Now he has a freeze, and now you are forced to reset with less than half HP, and you're gonna miss an entire wave, because you have no TP.
Yeah, that might be what happens here if I remember right.
Yeah, so this is the downside of taking Ignite early like this. You need to look for early kills or you need to manage your wave properly. Taking Ignite makes your life a lot harder just because you're relying on outplaying. I know Ignite always sounds very attractive against Sylas, but early game as heal is not that oppressive. Um, TP often is just the better choice, especially if you're if you're not really good at wave management because TP will bail you out of like a bad wave, which is often more important than you know, getting maybe a lucky kill or two. So again, it's 3:30. Lee Sin's doing Scuttle a bit late. Hecarim probably already has Scuttle down by now. Let's check. Yeah, so he does. So again, jungler's doing Scuttle on spawn, so expect them to be done by like 325, 320, and then Hecarim should either be on reset or yanking top. And if he's not, you know, it's also plat. He could do something crazy, like fighting Lee Sin down here. You know, this is something that you can't really rotate to, and this is because of how you set up your wave. I mean, yeah. I mean, your bot lane can rotate, so it looks okay. Who flashed? Lee Sin? Oh, Sylas. Okay. Good. Good. Nice. Good job. So let's look at this transversed. So your wave is in a really shitty spot that you kind of don't want to leave it, but you're pretty forced to. Your bot lane has prio, which is really good for Lee Sin. You don't have prio mid, but your bot lane having prio is more valuable than Sylas having prio at this point because Sylas is not a champion. You have 2 options here. You don't necessarily have to move. Your bot lane has prio, which is more than enough to win this for them. You could just take this and catch next wave and push it to prevent any freeze from going out. Or you could take the riskier route and just roam down and help your team. Generally, in lower elos, it's almost always better to just help your team because random fights happen for no reason. In a competitive sense, I would say the better play is just to push the wave and let it crash, and then so you don't get stuck in a freeze. Because generally you'll be able to communicate to your teammates that it's better for you not to move here because you're missing a lot of XP.
Right. I think in a competitive environment, I definitely would have kept pushing the wave. I would have just told them what was happening. But I find a lot of times in like when I'm playing solo queue, I need to help the team early because if I stay mid there, even if it's the right thing to do, and Lee Sin dies, I'm gonna get flamed.
Exactly. It's always better to just, you know, unless you're playing like hyper scaling late game 1v9 like Kale, Vlad, Cass, it's always better to just help your team in any way you can, even if it's a lost fight, just scrounging your kill or two. Sometimes saving the mental is more important. And yeah, it's exactly what you do. Your pathing is good, looking for the flank. You know, Sylas has no flash, and bada bing, bada boom, easy kill. Your Lee Sin gets Scuttle Crab, and again, your wave is kind of fucked. You do need to run mid and try to push this. And Sylas can TP and freeze this. This is good by Lee Sin. I know it doesn't feel good, but it's right. You definitely might need to stay here. Yeah, you need to stay here. This isn't a reset angle. So what you should be doing here is you should be pinging Lee Sin to, or typing just to help you push next. Because this chunk here, this needs to crash. This needs to crash into turret, and it's not. It's gonna get stuck about right here. And if this doesn't crash, by the time you reset and get back, this whole wave is going to kill the next wave, and you're going to be probably down or even in XP when you should have an advantage. So it's pretty valuable to call your junglers over to help. This guy is trolling, right? He should. There's no world where he should be killing this wave. Any higher elo player will just freeze this wave here, and then this entire wave will be missed. And you know that's okay to be like it's low elo. He's not gonna do it. That's fine, but it's also better to understand that it's a bad play and kill those habits for if you want to compete at a higher level. Does
I
that make
got you.
sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool.
So I think when I was playing this, I knew that the wave wasn't in a great spot, but I thought that the back would have been more valuable than hanging around. I felt like it was risky at the time, but I see what you're saying. I think you're correct. That's just what my thinking was at the time.
Mhm. It's risky if Lee Sin leaves, but if you ask Lee Sin to stay and just push it with you, you have pretty fast wave clear. He has an E and you Q, and you pretty much kills the whole wave. And Hecarim is on recall because he full cleared his entire jungle and just took a bad fight. So you guys should be fine to pull it. Now, if Lee Sin ignores you and doesn't push it, yeah, you're kind of fucked. But again, bad practice. Shit happens. It's Silicu. Um, yeah, CS numbers are looking a bit rough. Definitely something to work on. Make sure you're focusing on last hitting. This could, you could definitely be at 30 CS already at this point. Backwise, I am not a fan of double amp tone here. I believe you should be going, how much gold do you have? So you should be going, let's see, how much gold you backed on. Double amp tone is usually incorrect to buy. How much gold you back on? Okay, so you back on 1,000. So what you should be going here is amp tone, dark seal, and a pink. And maybe refillable, if you want to. You don't have to, but some people like it. The reason you go Dark Seal right now is because it is just objectively the best AP item in the game. It gives you the most value for it, for the item as soon as you get like 3 or 4 stacks on it. I don't remember the exact math. But if you're just comparing the raw numbers, Amp Tone for 435 gold gives you 20 ability power. And Dark Seal for 350 gold gives you 15 ability power and 40 HP. The 40 HP equates to about that 5 extra ability power. And you also have the snowball potential. If you win one big fight as a team, you immediately have 10 stacks, and that item becomes equivalent to a needlessly large rod, which is insane gold value. Actually, out of this world. AP items are so bad right now that you kind of need to do this. If you don't stack it, it's okay. You're still Ahri, you still have utility. But if you do, but the rewards are better than the losses just because it is the equivalent of an amp tone for less gold. Do you understand?
I do.
Gotcha.
I think the only thing I like to like try to rush the what is that? It's the
Lost
blue item
chapter.
that builds into like yes, that one.
Yep, that
Because the
that
mana
makes sense.
regen helps me a lot.
Yep, Lost chapter feels
I
very very good.
yeah, I like never build the Dark Seal. I like at all. But I mean I can start doing it. I always looked at it as more like a gamble. But I see where you're coming from with the gold value thing.
So it used to be a gamble when AP items were super valuable and they gave a lot of AP. But now, like late game, you're not really, especially on something like Ahri, who builds a lot more utility. You're not eclipsing like 200 more than 300 AP by like 4 items, which is disgustingly bad right now. So you need like to give yourself a route to get as much gold efficiency as possible. Um, and Dark Seal is that route right now. It is, most builders consider it one of the best items to buy. So get in the habit of first back. always buying that. My favorite champions are like Victor and Orianna. My first back always consists of like Dark Seal and Tyr. Early game items that will stack and give me snowball potential. And that's something to consider. You could even consider starting it right now, which is something like Sylas did. That's how strong it is. Um, so it's definitely something to look at and think about more and start doing more. Let's see. So pink, yeah. So again, you have all the refill potions, but you have no pink quartz. So getting that dark seal allows you to buy both, which is another inherent huge advantage because control wards don't have a visible value, but depending on the correct usage, they could win. They could really save you a death or get you a kill. So you could argue they
Yeah, I
have
think I buy a
franchise
lot.
value.
Right. I think I do buy a lot this game, but not there.
The earlier you get them, the more valuable they are. Because again, Ahri's weakest points is before 6. So if you get a pink ward, and let's say you shove a wave and go pink like here or here, Hecarim's most common ganking angles since he wants to always do raptors. You kind of save yourself one death or at least one back where you might lose a wave. Pink wards are insanely value. So as you walk, again, you should be looking around the map and seeing wave states. You shouldn't be looking at mid. Hecarim just ganked bot side, and your team's dying. You have Lee Sin pathing top side, so he's probably going to look for maybe a gank or even a dive top lane. You could even consider looking for a dive top lane since Urgot's very low and shoving in. As far as your lane state, it's pretty even. This will slow push to you because the wave is even on his side of the map. And Dragon is also coming up. So a lot of things to consider right now. Nothing definitive. You have an advantage in lane. So focus on lane and play around your jungler right now. And again, just start harassing him. You have all of your abilities up. You have full mana. And you're inherently stronger than him just because you have 75 AP. He has 44 AP. You are welcome to harass him with your ranged abilities here. Right here, just harass. So you're playing a little bit too scared. Are you like worried that he's gonna just go on you and fight you?
Yeah, so this is what I was saying earlier, but I feel like I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like if he ever gets on top of me, I just lose super hard. So like when I miss charm right here and he jumps in, I'm pretty sure he just chunks the shit out of me.
Why are you leading with charm?
I to charm, I guess, because charm increases my damage and it's like typically the first thing I throw.
It increases your damage, but it's also your most unreliable ability to hit. And when it's down, you're giving him a window where he could just zone you off the entire wave. He cannot go on you when you have charm up. How does he ever use any of his abilities? Because his abilities are straightforward, right? They attach him straight to you. It means you have a window where you have a guaranteed charm. Now that is better for you than Sylas. So let's look at this exchange again. So again, right here, he's stepping up. So he's in Q animation right now. So just, again, right here, just throw your Q, press your W, walk up and auto attack. You're also fighting in your own minion wave. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minions doing an extra X amount of damage per hit you fight with him here. You are, half a level down here, but again, it's okay. You have the extra damage, and you bought the refillable potion, so you might as well make use of it. You also are threatening the wave into a freeze. So if you if you go half HP and he goes half HP, your wave is still going to be right here, and you're at least in his top side. So he could easily set up for a gank, whereas you're not really gankable. Trading HP in a case where the wave is going to be pushing into you is completely okay. So again, right here, he has no Q stacks. He's just using his passive stacks. Just trade with him. Just use your lead out with your W and Q and hold your E until he's looking to go on you. Because your E also gives you the opportunity to start kiting. So when he does this, right, he has now no fear. Absolutely no fear to shove the wave and do whatever he wants. And now, I mean, you can freeze this wave, but it's a little harder. Just because it's a little bit bigger and he did that for free. But this is good. Dragging is good. Very good. You definitely know how to freeze your waves. Okay, so one thing you have to be aware of right now is Rakan has a roam timer to move around the map because Kai'Sa has a freeze. Um, it's very likely in a competitive scenario right here, Rakan would most likely be pathing mid and break this freeze. So Rakan would step up with Sylas and they would just break this. Hecarim could do the same, but it's better for Rakan to do it right now because he has nothing to do bot lane.
Yeah. I think when I saw Sylas roam off, that he would be going bot side for Dragon because our scuttle was about to die.
So why did you break freeze here?
I honestly I don't remember what I was thinking at the time, but I would think that it was because of I wanted to be able to roam to help if we tried to do anything about Dragon.
Okay, that's fine. If you want to create a slow push, that's completely okay. Good charm, but again, not super reliable. Um, Probably let him hit that, honestly. Yeah, let's watch that again. These small little trades are very, very important in lanes. That's why I'm spending a lot of time on them. Because again, you probably had like 2 or 3 kill angles that could have just won you the game already. So when he burns Q like that, he has a lot of his CDs down. Sneaking in a charm there is good. And then right here, just fight him. Just step into your wave and fight him. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minions here. Just fight him. He has no way of winning this fight. Like, I know he gains a lot of health, but he's going to be eating all... After that, he has no rotations, and he's going to be eating all of these minions. Along with your rotations coming up first. And just overall better for you to be taking trades in your minions. It's a really good habit to get into. So your team gets a dragon, which is good. Rakan's still on map, and you see Hecarim topside. So you need to crash this with the way you slow pushed your wave. So just step up and cue the wave. There's nothing for you you want to hold your wave here for as the least amount of time as possible, and you want to get this into turret because it gives him the opportunity to miss minions, and it lowers your chance of getting ganked, along with giving you the opportunity to step into this jungle and start warding. Speaking of warding, you haven't done much of that this game, but you haven't had much of the opportunity because you have been mainly freezing. Being able to get pushed into this turret gives you the opportunity to get some deep wards for your jungler. So this is good. Shove, 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 shove. Charm doesn't matter, just shove. Okay. Right here, something I want you to get in the habit of is when you have a push right here and you have a ward up, ward this camp right over the wall. I'm sure. Sorry?
Isn't that kind of risky though? Because then if Hecarim's in topside jungle and Sylas decides to push onto me, it seems kind of risky.
It's a little risky, for sure, but it's already risky that you're right here. You set your wave up to be right here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little risky for sure. But you also know Sylas has no rotations to get on you. He just used his rotations. Generally, if you're right here already, you're probably dead. It's 2 steps to and Hecarim's like sitting here. You're probably dead. It's about 2 seconds just to get a ward over here. You have prior throughout the map. It's okay. I agree, it's a little risky, but this ward is very, very, very valuable. And this is, again, something that would have been not nearly as risky if you bought a control ward, because you could control ward something like your topside river, and then you'd have freedom to walk into here.
Yeah.
But generally, this Raptor ward, this is also why I mentioned, like, I like pushing level 2, level 3, and getting a cheater, or just getting prio. You will get guaranteed this ward here, which gives you pretty much a very strong idea of where the enemy jungler is. This is my favorite ward as a mid laner. Just being able to ward Raptor Pit, because that's the best camp right now to take. For very obvious reasons. So, reset, you're probably going to go for chapter. I believe that's enough. Yep. Pink, good. Sylas has to shove this. Just looking at your lane states around the map. Both lanes are pretty vulnerable to getting ganked right now. Lee Sin's hovering bot side, so Shen's the most vulnerable. Your wave's going to crash. You know Sylas is resetting right on top of your ward with no TP. This wave is going to bounce towards Sylas. So again, what you want to do is just try to get it into his tower as fast as possible and let it bounce again towards you. As you're doing this, let's look around. Down here, your team is fighting. So right after this, you should just be walking down bot side just to help out your team. Okay, so let's go over what we're on here. So as soon as you see Lee Sin wanting to be making this play bot side, your body should just be hovering towards bot side. You always want to be able to react. So you could shove this wave just at a different angle. That will give you, maybe a second to get down there faster. So, once you see this happening bot side, like, if you were hovering, let's say right here, you could just use a charm on the last minion and immediately start rotating down towards that side. And you want to be in this river right now in case anything happens. In case maybe Sylas walks straight from base and he's over here now, right? So you want to be able to react and help your team. So you're getting a control ward top side, but no one is top side. So it's just like you said in the early game, just helping your team. So we could just watch how long this goes on. So I think there's a very good argument that you would have been down here by about now. Even if you weren't down here by about now, you still have, like, look how long this fight goes on.
I think I die here.
I just want to see how long you had to move. Yeah, so you had about 30 seconds to move. Especially as Ahri, you want to be, since you're an early to mid-game champion, your goal is to be moving. You don't want to just sit in lane with Sylas. Because you don't scale, and he does. So you need to find another way to win the game.
Yeah, I think right here, this is just kind of me brainlessly lane kingdoming.
And that's okay, but you should play champions that lane kingdom. Well, like Sylas, who doesn't really lane kingdom, but just kind of scales. Find champions to suit your playstyle. If you like Ahri, but want to lane kingdom, maybe consider someone like, who the fuck lane kingdoms anymore? I don't know. Lane kingdom doesn't even
I do
fucking
like the
exist anymore.
roaming. I do like the roaming playstyle more. That's why I play like Zed Ahri, but yeah, it was just a huge misplay by me here.
Yeah, and you see like just the small things like hovering that I pointed out to begin with, just playing towards your strong side, can shave you out seconds and just like mentally make you be looking for bot side. Yeah, and I mean this control word is just bad in general because there's literally no one up here, so this tower is gonna crash, this wave is gonna crash. So this is just lazy. You can get the ward here, you can get it here, you can get it here. All of these are a lot more effective because if Hecarim is already here, and you're here, you're dead because Sylas will take your R. Hecarim will be able to R you after your first R and then E you back, and there's just permacy at that point. So this ward really gives you 0 value.
I think what my thought process on that might have been is I saw Hecarim bot and I knew Lee was bot, so I assumed that the next place Hecarim would be the top side, and that's what that word might have protected me from. Is once Hecarim gets back on the map.
The line of thought is correct, but do you understand why this ward specifically is bad for that line of thought?
Right, yeah, there was a lot of time for me to move anywhere, and I just kind of, I just stayed in the lane.
You also have a ward up as well, so you could put the control ward here and then the yellow ward here, because again, there's going to be literally no one over there.
Right.
So there's still a way to salvage this play down here, right? You might not realize, oh fuck, I wasn't able to get there, but I could still give vision for my top side, so next time Lee Sin wants to invade, now he knows where Hecarim is. So there's always a play to be made, a trade to be made somewhere. You could even potentially look for the scuttle. I don't know if it's up. Sorry, blue, fog of war. Yeah, so the scuttle's up, and as Ahri, you kind of one-shot it. So things like that. As a mid laner, when you have a wave crashing in a tower and plates are still up, especially full HP, like, you kind of get no value from just stepping up here and, like, harassing him. Like, who cares? He has refillable potion. He's Sylas. He's not trying to fight you. So again,
Right.
looking for other things on the map.
Right. I guess the play would have been immediately go bot to help out, or I could have gotten a ton of vision on top side with a pink, my normal ward and scuttle,
Exactly. So you
and
chose like the
probably made
worst
it
of the
back
three
by the time.
options,
Yeah.
which is okay. I mean, that's what this is for. A lot of people do this, man. This isn't like plot. This is like high diamond. Does the same shit. But this is the small things that will start adding up in games, and it might not might not feel visible results, but maybe in a later game you'll notice Hegram as Raptors, and then you'll hover bot side because you know that. But in a different game you didn't do that, and then you gank and die. Small things like that.
All right. I assume stuff like that too will help out my Lee. Like Lee would be a lot more attentive to that than I probably would.
Exactly. Lee Sin and early game junglers just thrive going off prio and vision. So this is fine. You're playing this okay.
I die here
That
for
was a little
sure.
grief. Okay, that was grief too. Okay. Yep. Do you know how? Okay, so do you know what went wrong there?
I got within range of him when I probably should have stayed further away, is what I would
Yes.
think.
You missed an important. You missed a significant amount of damage in your Q, which kind of killed your lethal. So you have a very. Sylas is a very slim window to kill, right? Because it has to be in between his heals. Um, as someone who's a burst mage like Ahri, because you have your rotations and he has his rotations, but his rotations heal, and yours don't. It's like Vlad, right? You got to kill him in his windows. So let's watch this again, but a little bit slower. So right here, this is good, right? He's kind of just stepping up, and you did the guaranteed charm, like I said earlier. Now he has no W, and he has no way of healing your entire burst that's about to come through. This is, again, good pathing inside the minions. So your Q here is late. If that Q2 hits, you might actually have kill here. Um, because he has no E. He has your RAR. Regardless, it's going to be close, but that Q2 is also going to just make him not want to go in as well. Once that Q2 misses, you don't want to dash into melee range. That's definitely a mistake, like you
Right?
said.
Yeah.
And after that, yeah, it just kind of lost. Once that dash into melee range. But, like I said earlier, your kill windows are like levels 1 through 4. After that, it's got to be roam windows. You're not going to kill him. You can't Land Kingdom this anymore. And, I mean, getting solo killed bad is very specifically because of Dark Seal. Now, all of a sudden, he has an extra 10 AP, which makes it more valuable than an amp tome. So it's about 500 gold value, 550.
Right. I think here's where it starts to go really downhill for me. I kind of lost mental a little bit, and felt like the game was pretty over once I got soloed there.
Why do you
And
think
these
that?
next couple that you're gonna see. Well, maybe not just from. Well, I already feel like Sylas is gonna one-shot me pretty much anytime he gets close to me, and then when I give him that free kill, plus he has more CS than I do, and he's gonna push in a wave here. I just feel like he's gonna be so much stronger than me. I'm gonna be playing behind for the rest of the game unless something drastic happens.
Have you ever played Sylas?
I do, but not a whole lot.
So,
I know every time I've played him, if I get kills, I just snowball super hard.
yeah, that's fair. One thing that always helps me when I don't understand matchups or like I feel really bad no matter what is just playing the champion and trying to understand his weak points myself. Unfortunately, you're right. Sylas is objectively the strongest mid in the game right now. Besides like Lisa and Nocturne, AP wise, he's the highest pick competitively. In solo queue, he's dominant, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have his weak points, and his weak points is his like levels 1 through 4, levels 1 through 5, and that's where Ahri can exploit it. And I think we went over pretty in depth of the small mechanical misplays where you could have exploited it. But again, at this point, you're not going to duel him. But that doesn't mean it's over because you still have a better ability to shove with your abilities. You still have better dueling skirmish powers with Lee Sin. And you still have the ability to roam in a big place. That's kind of the benefit of Ahri. You're not reliant on being ahead. You're a team player. I guess Lissandra would be a good comparison in that regard.
I think another reason I like Ahri a lot is because of how strong she is in skirmishes early, and that happens a lot.
Yeah, for sure. That's what makes her really, really good a lot too. I mean, her charm is probably one of the best abilities in the game. Um, what are you planning on going here? Are you planning on going Everfrost or Leandries or Ludens?
I go Ludens.
Gotcha. Um, this is Probably. And I, it's hard to tell. Um, I don't think I'm a fan of Ludens here. I think I'm a fan of Everfrost here. My reasoning behind this is because your main damage sources at this point are going to be the Lee Sin, the Jin, the Senna, and the Shen. And also, they want to run into you. You have Rakan, Kaisa, Sylas, Hecarim all diving you. And Everfrost has a lot of value in that. Because that's where it succeeds the most. If they were like like 4 range, 5 range, like you were going against like an Oriana and they had like a Kindred, then Leandra's Ludens makes a lot of sense. But Everfrost is just so good on Ahri when they have to go into you or when they have to be really close ranged. Does that make sense?
It does.
It's pretty
I
subjective,
think I
but
just went. Yeah, I think I just went Ludens because it's what I'm most comfortable on. It's what I like. I run like probably 80% of the time on Ahri, so I just more comfortable and I know the damage.
mhm.
I know what to expect as far as what damage I can do.
If you're
But I
also
agree
worried
with
about
you,
dying,
Everfrost.
Everfrost helps in that regard because you have the Kindle Gem in the build path, right? Um,
Yeah, it's easier to build, I think, than Ludens as well.
oh yeah, Ludens is the worst AP item to build for sure. Um, Everfrost helps if you're behind because it's cheap and well, it's not cheap, it's expensive, but it has a good build path with that Kindle Gem in there to help you have some survivability. So again, this wave is gonna crash, or actually not. I wasn't paying attention to Silas's recall. Um,
I think he TP'd,
that
didn't
way,
he?
I was not
No,
paying
he didn't.
attention. Let's watch. I think he just reset and I forgot about it because we were talking. But I mean, since he's gonna catch this wave, he can freeze this, and you're kind of fucked at that point. Which is the downside of fucking up against Sylas. You're also behind in farm in a matchup that you shouldn't be. As you pointed out, you were missing a lot of farm. That's something if you really want to get better at it, go in practice tool, choose a champion that you need to practice on, and just farm for 5-10 minutes with no items, no runes, no anything, and see how much you can get. I do that probably like once or twice a week, and it kind of shows me how shit I am at farming. But we don't talk about that. Good. Good. Nice, good trade. So now you can kill him in next rotation if you misplace. You have no reason to hover topside, and please tell me you see Rakan moving, right?
I don't, no.
Gotcha. So
Oh,
this
I
is
remember this one.
yeah.
I remember this, yeah.
This is
I don't die
something
here.
you don't. Wow, that's a miracle. You definitely should. Yeah. So you have no. So you
Yeah,
have.
I
Oh,
think,
actually, you have
yeah.
flash. That's probably why. But you probably should lose flash. Um, So right here, one of the things that's hardest to do is constantly be looking at lanes that could potentially impact you. So again, this game you have to be paying a lot of attention to the bot. So Rakan is moving this way, um, and you just zone Sylas out. So right here, you should again just be glancing at your minimap, and you'll notice that Rakan goes this way. Um,
Right.
and they're
Over
pinging
a
it too,
ward and
right? It's not
everything.
even that you just have to look at it; they're pinging it, which is not very common, believe it or not. You probably believe that actually. Um,
I'm pretty sure I like almost die here and then I flame them next time because it happens again. So that's the that's the little mental part I was telling you about.
yeah,
Not proud of it, but it happened.
I mean, they're pinging it, and again, it's not a lane they want to be moving from, especially since they were winning. Um, so on a theoretical sense, they should not be moving. You should just not be dying to Rakan's ganks and absorbing the pressure as the supportive champion you are in Ahri. So this is a little weird. Um, yeah, let's watch this before this finishes. Uh. Wow, that was a miracle that worked out. There was all right. Let's talk about just like what went wrong initially and how this could have been avoided. So right here, this is really good. Um, he doesn't know that you see him. Actually, did he walk over it earlier? I think he knows
He
that you see
did.
him.
He
Yeah,
did.
so he knows you're gonna see him in there. So he's walking forward like that. He's going to be he should be expecting the charm and be ready to dodge it. So you can't just throw the charm at him, or else you're gonna get jumped on. So when he's walking up like this, you want to abuse your W movement speed. So your W movement speed steroid is probably your most valuable tool in kiting Sylas. So you can see very obviously like he dodged it because he was expecting it, and you blow your
Right.
load on nothing.
Right. I think if I would have, like you said, kind of just hovered there, and then as soon as like he came up, just W'd, and then if he even hit me, I have Charm Q, and he's close to tower, and I
Exactly.
have, oh, I don't have Ignite, but
You don't have
I
ignite,
think I would
but
have won the trade.
he's still again he's half health already. So if he misses his E or just W's and with something it's still beneficial for you just zoning him off the minions. Just baiting out his abilities is sorry excuse me is super valuable. So especially on Ahri, you don't want to like if you watch high elo Ahri players, you'll notice they hold their abilities for a very very long time, because it's there's a difference between throwing the ability and having the threat of throwing the ability, and one of those is much scarier than the other, um, and that's something Sylas will have to deal with or just take the risk and go in. So after you blow your abilities, you kited the wrong way. So let's go and pen tool here. So you blow your abilities and you need to kite down here. You don't want to be walking this way just because you're letting Sylas kind of just blow his load on you. You don't know where top is. He already killed your Shen. And Lee Sin's winning this duel, but if you bring Sylas to him, there's a good chance that Lee Sin can't finish off Hecarim and has to deal with Sylas as well, because you sure as hell can't. Um, So Sylas, has pretty much lethal on you on his next rotation, and you're forced to burn R for free. And now you see Rakan here, and you're like, what the fuck do I do?
I don't even see him,
Okay,
honestly. In this play, I was so busy watching what was going on with me and Lee, I didn't register Rakan.
fair enough. And that's something obviously that's to improve. Just being aware
Right.
of the most important members on the map. The ones you have to be aware of are Rakan and Hecarim this game. You could, Urgot can go fuck all. Kaisa can go fuck all. But you had the opportunity to know that earlier that she was moving while you weren't trading with anyone. So you had that small window of mental consciousness. So, I mean, bad flash, obviously, but it is what it is. You kind of just put yourself into a sandwich. It's very lucky that you got out and Sylas, missed you by half a second. This is definitely just your team carrying you. But the mistakes are pretty obvious, I think, and pretty fixable. A lot of it's very small micro decisions that, again, is very hard for you to play at this point because you weren't able to punish Sylas earlier with this ignite that you took. So we're gonna move on. Go with some 4x. You just saw Sylas TP bot, so you just want to freeze this and hold the wave here. And if he comes like this, you just let him do what he wants at this point. There's not much for you to do. You just kind of have to wait for your jungle to play, look for some roam opportunities, look to get some good vision. You definitely cannot burn Charm like that right now. Okay.
Hmm.
So again, just be aware of what you have and what the enemy can do to you. So you're no flash, no ultimate against Rakan Hecarim. So you have to always be aware that Hecarim could charge at you from here, from here. Rakan can fly over the wall, things like this. That's the team comp they have, and that's what you have to deal with. And that's it sounds hard, but also if they can't pull it off, your team is just gonna win. So, stepping up to Q the wave like this is very, very pointless, because now the wave is going to shove towards him, and you're going to be in another sticky situation. You just want to play safe, play with your no sums, no ultimate, and wait for your ulti to come back up. But again, knowing Rakan and Hecarim are off map, you really can't burn Charm. You want to keep your W as well, and there's no point in trading with this guy anymore, just because you're not going to win trades at this point. And, we see how this is punished eventually. If you're just a little bit farther back, or you have Charm to stop Hecarim, or any of these things, you have at least a higher chance of living. There are going to be some situations that are unlivable if they play it right, but just these little small things that to think about. So we'll zoom into when you next spawn. So again, the CSing is just rough overall. A lot of fights, no, not CSing. A lot of these games can just be won by focusing on CS. Cool, good job. Yeah, talked about it earlier, just fighting with your team, even though, it was a pretty lost fight. You get a shutdown for yourself. Do you? No, you probably don't, actually. Whoops. That shutdown was theirs. But, I mean, the game isn't over. Your team is still very, very strong. Kills are even. When kills are even and there's no towers down, the gold's generally even. Your purpose at this point is just to play for your carries. Play for the 2-2 Jhin, the 4-1 Lee Sin, help them out as much as you can. Set them up with your charms. You should also be thinking about lane swapping soon. You do want to put your bot lane in a more suitable position to pop off, and you also want to get away from the Rakan and the Hecarim always in your lane. So this is good. You shove the wave and you start moving. That's what you always want to do. You don't want to just sit mid.
I think I told I either pinged or told them that the Sylas was coming top before those question marks mid.
So why didn't you go top?
The wave came back and I wanted to push it. And when I saw them doing the rift top, I just assumed that they would be able to 2v1, I guess.
So you're thinking reactively instead of proactively. So let's go back to right here. So remember I said that you want to play for the Lee Sin, you want to play for your strong members. It's okay for you to think about what you're trading if you stay mid. If you go topside here, you're trading maybe Sylas stays for a wave for you to guarantee at least 3 plates being killed, and pretty much guaranteeing a dive on Urgot as well, as 3v1 is pretty unlivable unless you guys severely misplay. So we say that's what each gold is each plate is 160 gold. So let's say 320 gold plus 300 gold divided around. The overall gold is a bit more valuable along with the tempo than him getting 1 wave. Now on the flip side, if you go for this 1 wave, and Urgot 1v2s or Sylas walks up, they get a lot more. So it's do you understand what I'm trying to get across here?
Yeah, the more valuable play would be to sacrifice the minion wave mid even if he stays, and then just support the top.
Exactly, because even if Sylas stays mid, he really can't get much here because plates are up. So it's really hard for him to kill tower. And it's better to just to be playing with your team, especially at this point in the game when you're far behind, and catching XP isn't super valuable since you're a charm bot. So if you're up here, right now you could even just be hovering. Let's see. Yeah, they don't even have vision in anywhere up here, so you could be hovering behind and just collapse. And yeah, I mean,
We end up dying.
yeah, this would have been a kill because you would have gotten a charm and enough damage to help them out. And now, I mean, Sylas does that exact trade that you decided not to take. He sacrifices this wave to save his Urgot and get 2 kills, which you would have gotten the equivalent of 2 kills from the plates in killing Urgot. So thinking about it in the game, it looks like they'll be fine, but in hindsight, it's like, wow, that trade feels really shitty for us. Again, 108 gold, no pink. Make sure you're always buying a pink when you have at least 75 gold. And buying a blue trinket is good, by the way. I like that. I'm always a big fan of buying a blue trinket as soon as possible, unless you're playing a heavy invisible team where you need red trinket. Switching out yellow trinket as a bit early is very, very efficient in my opinion, but it is a bit subjective.
Yeah, I always go for the blue. Just I feel a lot safer with it.
Yeah, it's good to scout out pretty far ahead, and you could also use it for permanent vision if you um, don't have any uses for it at the moment. So this is, again, really scary for you. Everyone's off map. You just see Recon bot, but Hecarim can blow your ulti. Um, so, at this point in the game, it's pretty much just the game of push in the wave and move. So it's up to you to decide where to move and what you want to do with it. So you decide to move bot, which is okay. Let's see if you can make anything happen.
No, I'm pretty sure I just walk around right back mid.
But there's nothing wrong with that. You're creating pressure around the map. Let's say like Hecarim decided to gank bot for around that time because he's been off map. You'll be there. It's much better to be around the map than just sit here and just wait for the wave to come. So your overall ideas are correct. Okay, Hecarim's top. Sylas is walking top too. You should be walking bot right now. Walk bot, walk bot, walk bot, walk bot. Bot, 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 bot. Why am I saying bot?
Because you want me to walk bot.
What do you want me? What do I want you to do, bot?
To play with my team.
If so, you see 3 top side, right? So
Yes.
and your jungler's bot side, and your bot lane is shoving a wave into their tower, and they're ahead. So what should your immediate call be in a competitive game?
Dive bot.
Dive bot. There we go. You should be diving this 1000% of the time. 4v2, and you just have to force to play. Whether it's good or not, you need to force a trade somewhere because they are being the proactive ones and you are being reactive. You have a very strong Lee Sin right now. You have ultis up. They have sums, but you still just got to go for it, especially with the wave state. Because if you get this, you trade a tower as well from their first tower. And again, there's not much value for you pushing out these waves. So if you start walking bot and pinging that you want to dive, this Lee Sin will 100% follow you. Because look, he has the idea that he wants to do something bot. So instead of doing something proactive like that, you get your ulti and flash burned here because they just came and ganked you because they're stronger. Your bot lane gets 2v2'd and things just fall apart. And all of this could have been prevented by you.
I die here too.
Yeah, you definitely cannot stay here. This is a little grief. Doesn't he have your ulti or is that a bug? He must not. He must already use it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, you see, like, this isn't even, like, I'm not even going to go over, like, how you misplayed it, like, micro-wise, just because it's a situation that shouldn't have happened. So, like, mid-game macro decisions, you even though it's solo queue, there are still small ways you could lead the team in that sense with, wanting to go to certain directions, especially since, like, not every jungler is going to want to do the same thing as you, but, I'd say about 30 to 40% of your games you can make a significant impact in, that you could do something like that and maybe turn the tides, rather than let them your team's mental start going fucking kaput. I
go mid here instead of bot because our team was fighting.
Yeah, I have nothing wrong with that. I wanted to look at something before that. So you're dead on... Okay, gotcha. At this point in the game, you should be looking to sell. I was looking at your gold count because at this point in the game, you should be looking to sell a refillable potion and just buy pinks. You didn't have the opportunity here because you're waiting for Sorks, but past like the 15-minute point, that's something you should always be thinking of because refillable potion kind of just loses its value at that point. Because you have enough CD, your abilities are high enough level where you have enough passive healing, and the pinks just become more valuable in the mid game because games are won and lost off someone face checking.
Right, and even as Ahri, it's like super nice to have vision because I can land charms safely and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I have nothing wrong with you running mid here. Because your team's gonna it's plat, so your team's gonna do some stupid shit, and you're also Ahri, right? You don't really care about catching sideways. You just want to make something happen. If you were someone like Victor or Ori, I'd say probably look to go bot. But there's also nothing for you to do down here, and it's really really hard for you to be down here because um, these wards are gonna expire, and Hecarim can probably just solo you at this point. So you being here is good. Um, it's a little bit hard for you to do something, but trying to land a charm like that, good. And now Shen is probably going to int his way into here. Yep. Your R comes up. Good job. Go for a charm again. Nice. That definitely should have hit the minion. And that's okay if you die. No problems with that. And good. Good pathing, good play. Good job.
Yay! Thanks, Dad.
So, I mean, stuff like that, shit like that is just random ARAM shit. That, again, shouldn't happen. But, it happens, especially at lower elos, and you just need to be ready to react to that. And, I lose a lot of games myself just by trying to side lane and scale where my team wants to do random shit. And I personally don't get mad at that. I'm like, I'm trying to practice good practices. If they want to randomly fight, that's whatever.
Yeah, I think at this point is where we start to turn the game. Because a lot of this game is just constant, like ARAM fighting, like you said, and
Hmm.
it just goes our way a lot of the time.
Yep. So, again, this is where the value of Everfrost would really come in as well. Constant fights is really, really valuable for Everfrost. So this is good. You mean pathing bot initially is good since your team's all mid. And then another fight. This is actually hilarious.
Yeah, I missed Charm.
It's okay.
I missed Charm.
Micro and fights. I mean, I already went over your micro and landing phase, and that's where the micro is really important. After that, it's more about pathing and being at the right spots. So, I mean, you guys fight. It looks like you're playing it slow and you're playing it well. Yeah. I mean, this is like the strength of your team comp, like I was saying earlier. You guys have a really, really strong comp. It's really, really good front to back. Jin Senna is just a really, really strong combo. And you providing like a good chunk of the CC. So right here, I don't like you pathing mid. They don't need you mid. You could do two things. You could either go bot and get the turret, or you could reset and go top side and get for that. But there's no real reason for you to be mid. You don't need three people here hitting the turret. You could be getting Scuttle right now. You could be getting Vision in their jungle. You could be pathing topside and not missing these minions. You're going to get that 50 gold from the tower either way. So just small inefficiencies is going to stunt your gold income. And again, super minor. It's not like it's the end of the world, but these small things all added up will start improving your gameplay significantly as you have, that might be the difference between you having an Oblivion Orb next fight and not having it. And then, Sylas doesn't get a big heal and then you win the fight because of that. And so many small things. So how much gold are you sitting on? You're sitting on 900. I'd probably look for a recall here. Your ADC is recalling, and your team just did Rift. And you really don't want to step up here if you get, because remember they have Rakan Hecarim. They could just get on you instantly, even with your R. You have 900 gold, so this is a really good back point to get that Oblivion Orb. That's something you should be looking for against Sylas, Hecarim, Rakan here, and even Urgot actually. Yeah, so now you see Rakan down here, right? And you can't step up for this wave. And I mean, he's griefing, but, like, this shouldn't happen. Man, I hate when I say stuff that makes sense and then it just, I look like a fucking idiot. Oh, man. Do you understand what I'm saying, though, with that?
Wait, no, what was that last part? What did you say that?
I hate when, like, I say something and then the complete opposite happens and the other team just runs it down.
Right. It's plat, man. You can't be too, it's like playing against people in bronze. Like you expect the unexpected.
Do you understand my line of
No,
thought?
but I do, 100% I do. And a lot of what everything you're saying is like, yeah, I agree with you. It's just like in the heat of the moment, not everything clicks, or I'm not paying attention, or I'm like, look down at text or whatever. I agree with everything you're saying, It's just that, you know, when this is game's real time, it doesn't, not everything comes, you know what I mean? It's a lot of
Yeah.
hindsight where I'm like, yeah, yeah, that you're right. That's the better play. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
No, for sure. I mean, that's the
But
hardest part of learning the game, right? There's a difference between going over it and then actually applying it. And that's why I try to focus on one major thing at a time, and take a few takeaways from each game. For example, in this game, um, I think the most important part of the game that I spent the most time on was that levels 1 through 5, right? Because you're taking Ignite, so that means your most important part is laning phase. Um, so we really went over those small windows, that you can get kills. Um, and now we're going over some macro, which isn't, so it's something that's very hard to learn. And the best place to learn it is a team environment, that you're going to be competing in. And going over it with your team, and a few, Sly is playing on a few of us from the top team. I'm doing VODs with you guys, um, and helping you guys with this because I have like 2.5 years of collegiate experience just competing at the top of collegiate. I've it's a lot to learn, and it really comes down to someone having to step up and shot call, and that doesn't come naturally in every team. So if you have the ability just to make these small things, just from solo queue, it could help. But I mean, the biggest takeaways of this game, like I said, is CS and the early game trading.
yeah, I knew, like, I knew coming out of this game that what I messed up a lot is like I got so far behind in CS. I missed opportunities in lane against Sylas that I really should have capitalized on. And I gave up some kills that got them like early dragons and prio and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
and this blue buff that you're about that you don't have to watch this blue buff
What is it
thing. This
reset?
is really embarrassing. It's super
That
embarrassing.
that happens to me all the time too. Don't worry. Um, I mean, also like another thing that I really think like helps enable the mind is just before the game, just looking at each team comp and doing what I did. We looked at the jungle matchup, we looked at the support matchup, and we established what is going to happen. Khan is going to come mid. Your Lee Sin's going to win the 1v1. And you need to be aware of those things. And before I even watched the game, all of these things that I said was going to happen happened, just because there was a fundamental understanding of what the champions want to do.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I really thought of was the 2v2. I knew because I play mid jungle, so I kind of knew obviously that like the Lee Sin was gonna be more valuable than Hecarim early, and that I can fight Sylas, but I feel like he's stronger than me if I let him get on top of me.
Mm-hmm.
But and we didn't end up 2v2ing really a whole lot, but I don't know. Maybe I should have looked for more there throughout.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're right, right? So there's a fun. So the game constantly evolves because there's a step deeper to every single concept we apply. So you're like, okay, we're stronger in the 2v2. Then I say, okay, but it's never going to be a 2v2 because Rakan should be roaming up. And then another analyst will say, okay, but that doesn't matter because then bot will dive 2v1, right? There's always another step to the game, and that's how the game gets higher and higher of a level, and that's how you step up in your own level. You start just naturally understanding these small things by playing the game, understanding matchups, understanding the game tempo, and it's a lot to take in, right? I'm not expecting you to learn this all in one VOD review, but what I am expecting is that you start slowly thinking about these things, and especially if you were just playing solo queue, like right, it's not a big deal. But if you want to have a competitive drive and play competitive, these things will put your team above another plat team or another diamond team.
Right.
Um, so yeah, let's finish off this game and see you guys pull off the win. So good, catching wave. Look for a reset right about now. Your vision score is definitely good for mid. About one vision score a minute or less is pretty fine for mid. Oblivion Orb vibe, really good. Like I said, I mentioned that earlier. And you could sell your refillable potion for like an amp tome or something. Like I said, refillable has like no value anymore.
See, this is the part of the game where I start to do something. I kind of pop off a little bit in the team fights, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's where you're meant to thrive is Ahri, right? It's 21 minutes. You have your core items. Um, the random fights is where Ahri thrives. All these little skirmishes, and they're all low. One charm is a guaranteed kill, and that's why Ahri is so good in this elo because, she's really bad in like coordinated team play, but in like messy shit like this, she is fantastic. I used to play her a lot in solo queue last season when she was strong. She's kind of weak now, but you know, with Everfrost, it still feels really good on her. But before last season, when she went like hose, it was so nice. So yeah, now you guys pull off Baron. Good call. Yep. Don't be something for competitive in general is never be afraid of early Barons. Baron's really weak. It doesn't do any damage. And generally right now, with ADC items, you can almost always melt it. Like, you guys have like nobody on your team actually melts Baron. Did she go? Yeah, she went Frostfire, and you guys still did that and so fast. It's actually disgusting. Yeah. So I mean, at this point, you know, in a competitive sense, you should probably be 1-3-1ing or 1-4ing with Shen. Shen's in the right spot. You can group with your team. No problems with that. Again, they're just out of position. Now you have some picks. Looking for a charm around here. Shen isn't grouped, so you do have to be a little bit careful, but he has the ulti in. This is good.
I
I
think what
like
I did
this.
here is, yeah, I saw since we were like jockeying back and forth, I wanted to, and I had Baron, I wanted to go push a wave really fast and then come right back, is what I was doing here.
This is right. You are 100% correct in doing this. Generally, like, in a competitive sense, right, Dragon is just spawning right now, right? 2 seconds. So what you guys can actually do that's better than this Dragon is you guys could just run it for mid, and you can get this tower, you can get this tower, you could probably even get inhib before they could even get back to you guys because, and Shen will also get this tower because you have that Baron push. Whereas they just get an extra
Right,
Dragon. Like, they get Silk Point, granted, but that the amount of gold you get from the tower should just kind of snowball the game and you should be able to end. Um,
right. I think you're right. That would be the best play for competitive for sure. You know, you saying that, but um, you know, for what's going on here, it seems like my team very much wants to,
yep.
well, they want to fight.
Yep, and there's no problems with that either.
It's kind
You're
of,
right doing this stuff.
yeah,
Definitely just shove the wave because even if like you just shove this and go down, this is just another wave of XP that the other team's gonna miss, and another wave that puts you more ahead. And Shen's also gaining more XP up here. So you're just like getting ahead even by grouping in that sense. So this is right. You always want to play through wave priority. That's a very fundamental concept that I'm glad you have here. And it's very easy for you to move as soon as you need to because you're Ahri. So even right here, like, this is a really good angle. You just R and charm here. Yep. Close. Probably need to do a little bit faster. You're a little hesitant, but the idea is correct. I don't know why Shen is TPing. Just R's in, but yeah. I mean, play the fight slow. Play with your charms. Nothing you can really do but do that. Yeah, I mean, good fight. Good job. Yep, pathing mid. Yes, all of this is correct. Your team can chase all they want, but if you know, it only takes one to push. Your whole team should really be pushing, but you are correct in doing this. Yeah, good. Good shit, man.
thanks.
So what do you buy? Okay, this is bad. This is bad. Do not finish Morella. Not an item to finish. It loses a lot of gold efficiency after Oblivion Orb. After Morello here, I would let's look at their comp. After Morello, I would probably go Banshees here. Banshees or Zanyas, something defensive. You want the ability to be able to R in, make a play, and be able to get out. And Banshees and Zanyas enables that.
Yeah, I think what I was thinking here is after I built the Morellos, I didn't feel like I was being targeted very much in fights. Like they weren't focusing me at all because obviously the Jhin is carrying and like the rest of my team has been such a factor early. So what I was doing here is I wanted to go for as much damage as I possibly could because I felt like I could get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going Rabadons here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, so the Rabadons is alright. It's not really good on Ahri. Rabadons is really, really good on champions that need raw AP to scale. Vladimir, Victor, Kale. But right now in the current game state, it's really bad to build on mid-game champions like Ahri. Because it is so expensive and is really, really not efficient with what it gives. Something that you should be considering going very often is what the Sylas is building. So, Everfrost Cosmic Drive is probably one of the strongest combos in the game. They synergize really well. They're nice and Cosmic Drive is nice and cheap. It gives you about 200 something AP with a shit ton of ability haste to spam your abilities. Have you tried that combo before?
No. I've only done that combo when I played Sylas.
Yeah, so it gives you what 60 ability haste in 2 items, which is a lot. You also can go CDR boost generally with it, so that's 80 ability haste, which is like 40 something percent something CDR. So your charms up every 6 seconds or so, maybe less. Um, that's something I'm personally a big fan of on Ahri because again, you're not a damage champion, you're a utility champion. So that's why you want to be your most valuable thing is your rotations. Um, you're building damage here, but who are you really trying to one shot with this Rabadon's like Hecarim Urgot? That's who you're going to be hitting.
Everyone. I just want to do as much damage as I possibly can. I
So
just want to spread it all out, give everyone some
even with
love.
that logic, the build is wrong then. Um, the most damage possible then would be probably the Ludens, but you skip the Morello. You would probably go into either Cosmic Drive or Void Staff, and then into Needlessly Large Rod, into
I
Rabadon's.
did think of I did think about Void Staff, but I looked at their items and no one was building like
Uh,
any
yeah,
MR.
it's not good here,
That's why
but
I
I'm
didn't do
saying
that.
that's conceptually the best for damage, pure damage. No, but definitely Everfrost Cosmic Drive. You should start building that in Ahri. I think you'll like it a lot. Because the raw damage you're missing, you'll make up from having your rotation up 2 times as much. Yeah. Besides that, sell your fucking corrupting potion for refillable potion for pinks. Thanks. Um, just buy at this point. At this point in the game, every time you recall, you should always have like 1 or 2 pinks in your inventory. Just like even like in a fight, if you put a pink down to cut vision, it pretty much can win you a fight. Nice charm, good bait. Jin inted it, but you should be able to secure that. Good. And this should probably be an inhib, maybe even game. That's unlucky. Yeah, 25. You guys go for end here? You don't get it.
No, we don't. I think my team here got a little kill happy. Maybe I did too. I don't know.
No, that's fine. I mean, how do you guys actually not end here?
We stopped hitting it.
Okay, yeah, they got kill happy. Yeah, I mean, you guys just aren't hitting it. So the game should be over there, so.
I was really worried at this point. I was like so sad that we didn't end because I felt like like they have the chance now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is the point where they're going to scale. But, I mean, just looking at items, it's kind of not possible. Sylas is really the only one on their team that scales. Urgot scales decently. But Kai'Sa is going to get outscaled by Jin. Hecarim doesn't scale anymore. Yeah. It's just kind of impossible for them, even if they do win next fight. Like, you guys just need one good fight. Yeah. I mean, there's not much left to watch over. We can cut it there. I'm going to cut the recording.